Hey there traders, welcome back for another free video from thestockbandit.com. I'm certainly glad that you've made it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to kick off a little mini series. It's going to be a 4-part series, and we're going to take a look at a hot topic among traders, which is, can I trade full time? Now, as you might imagine, I get asked about this quite often, so I thought it'd be useful to you and helpful to you to just kind of compile it into a slideshow and walk you through it as a reference for a starting point. Now, before we begin though, let me just make it clear that this is my opinion on what it takes. And now, without getting into your personal details, which are specific to you, these are just some theoreticals that I think are highly important if you're going to consider trading full time. Now, your situation might require something completely different. So even if you meet all these criteria, trading may still not be for you. And of course, this guarantees nothing because the markets always involve risk, and there's always a chance that you'll lose some or all of your money trying to trade or invest. So now that we've got that out of the way, let's take a look here at part 1. And the big question here for a potential full-time trader is, do I have what it takes to make it? And there's a lot to consider. So we're going to cover some ground here in part 1, and then we'll have parts 2, 3, and 4 coming soon. So let's take a little bit closer look here at some of the things that it takes to make it. The first thing that you're going to need is a strong desire and commitment. Now that seems a little bit obvious, but what does that mean? Well, first of all, you've got to be willing to put in the work. You've got to be able to put in the hours to build an opinion on the market. And that only comes from studying the tape, from watching the market day in, day out, putting in lots of time to develop a feel for how the market moves. You've also got to be able to and willing to train your mind's eye to detect patterns in the charts and find those setups. And you've got to understand risk and a lot of other things, but those all fall under the umbrella of your willingness to work. You've also got to have a passion to learn. Now, the jargon for trading becomes a little bit boring unless you're really enthusiastic about getting it. You've also got to have a passion to learn in order to continue growing as a trader over time. You can't just say, I'm prepared to trade full-time today, I'm going to jump off with both feet, and this is how I'm going to trade from now until the end of my trading career. That's not going to work. If you're going to survive and thrive as a trader, you've got to have a passion to learn, which means you're always looking to detect something a little bit new in the market, to understand which parts of your trading strategy may need to be adjusted a little bit in order to continue finding success. Now, the next thing that you're going to need for your strong desire and commitment is a drive to succeed. And that also may seem a little bit obvious, but the fact of the matter is, if trading is your plan A and you have a plan B as a backup, that does open the door there for some potential failure. If you've always got something to fall back on, you may not give trading your very best effort. And what you've got to have when you approach trading is your number one priority in work. Now, that doesn't mean it's your top priority of your life, but it means it needs to be your top priority of work so that you are driven to succeed and you put in the work and you have the passion to learn and you're driven to continue growing and improving as a trader. Now, something else that you're going to have is mental toughness. You've got to be able to withstand losses. That means you can take a hit both to your account, yes, but also to your psyche. It's difficult, it's challenging psychologically to take losses here and there when you also have to walk that line of being confident as a trader. So you've got to be able to withstand some losses and still maintain a confidence and some poise to continue trading. You've also got to be willing to suppress your ego for the bigger cause. And by that, what I mean is, you don't lose the war over one little battle. You know, this particular trade that you're wrong on, you close it out. You don't try and preserve your ego and stick with that losing trade in order to just be right on that one little trade. You're willing to take a small hit for the trade to overall survive as a trader, and you understand that day in and day out. You know that you can set that ego aside and leave it at the door in order to maintain profitability overall as a trader, and that's the big goal here. You also have to have a present tense mindset, and by that what I mean is, you don't allow your last loss or your last win to potentially derail your commitment to your strategy. Maybe you just came off a tough loss that was a trade that you thought was working really well and it failed miserably on you. Well, you stop out and you move on. Maybe you just came off a huge win and you're feeling really confident. That doesn't mean that you automatically adjust your strategy for your next trade. You've got to stay present tense. You've got to face what's in front of you and make the correct move no matter what situation you're just coming from, because the next move that you make is the one that's the most important. Now, you've also got to have some experience and some success before you go trading full time. So you need to have done a fair amount of trading. You need to have endured different kinds of markets and attempted different strategies, and you've got to have a good understanding of trading. This is not something that you just begin trading. You're not a starter and decide to go full-time doing this. This is something that takes some time to get to before you consider trading as your full-time career. You also need to have had some success on some level in your trading. So that may mean that you're, of course, profitable as a part-time trader. That certainly is a necessity. You can't struggle as a part-time trader and expect to suddenly do very well as a full-time trader. That doesn't make much sense. So you've got to be profitable. You need to be doing something that's working. You need to be resilient. You need to have proven that you can bounce back from losses, from a series of losses, that you can emerge from a period of struggle and overcome that. And that just shows your resilience as a trader. You also need to have traded through multiple types of markets. So you need to have seen varying conditions and proven that you're able to not only endure those, but also have some success there. So that means you know how to navigate a trading range. When the overall market is caught in a range, it's not really showing momentum in either direction. You're able to profit there. You know strategies that can help you participate and make money there. You need to be able to know how to trade in an uptrend or a downtrend, because the market will go through correction phases, and without your ability to turn a profit during those periods of time, you're going to be sidelined and stuck and waiting for the market, and that's no place to be as a trader. As a trader, you've got to continue moving, so you've got to have an understanding of how to navigate different types of conditions. Now, the last thing that you're going to need is you've got to be well capitalized, and we're going to discuss this more in part 2. Because as we're going to progress through this mini-series, a 4-part series here on what does it take to make a trader, at least here I've given you a few starting points and some of the things that you need to consider as you weigh your chances of whether you want to trade full-time or not. So thank you for watching this video, and of course I will see you soon with more, but until then, trade like a bandit.